Hey guys, welcome to a new video. This video is going to be slightly different simply because I'm going to be speaking about my career. The reason why I am making this video is one, to make people aware just of what it's like, and then two, because I want to start posting more of this type of content on my channel. So it makes sense to, provide some background, just speak about it a bit, and then I will be posting a lot more of this content. But let's get right into it. So, if you don't know, I am a teacher. I am a third/fourth year high school teacher, and I'm just going to be speaking about what it's like being a teacher in South Africa. I do want to preface this video by saying that I am not an expert by any means. I'm speaking from my experience, from my colleagues' experiences, just fellow teachers, how we've experienced it, and I'm in no way trying to scare anybody off from, joining the industry or anything like that. I do love my job, I do love what I do. It's just that, like any job, it's not just teaching, any job comes with its cons. But I'm not going to list pros and cons, I'm simply going to tell you what it's like being a teacher. You can take away from this video what you would like. If you are pursuing the career, if you are in the career, you can comment down below if you agree, if you disagree, if you have any tips and tricks for young teachers or future teachers coming into this industry. But like I said, let's get right into it. I do just have my cup of coffee, and this is actually so cute because it has all these letters on, and I am an English teacher, a qualified English teacher. So this is my teacher cup for 2024, and I thought, might as well use it. I do also just have a notebook with some notes in it. So if you see me glancing down, please do forgive me. I just want to, stay on track with what I'm going to be speaking about. The first thing I want to say is, if you are joining the industry for the salary, then I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is the wrong industry to join if you want to be rich. You're going to be rich in experiences, 100%, but the way that a teacher's salary is set up, it's just, it's not what people think it is. Let me put it like that. There are various types of ways you can earn, if I can put it that way. You get your contract posts, you get permanent posts, you get SGB posts, of course you get your government public schools, and you get your private schools, and what the private school wants to pay you is completely up to them. I've had an experience where I went for an interview at a private school. I was successful, but the salary they were going to give me was literally half of what I was earning in a government post. That could, however, be the other way around. A private school could be offering you double what a government school is going to offer you, but that's up to the private school, right? Most of us are, however, employed in the government sector, or we are employed by the government, by the WCD. And so when you are working as a contract teacher, you more or less all earn the same, and that is a decent amount. When you are stepping into your teaching career and you start in this contract post and you see that first salary, you are over the moon. And if you don't know any better, you are going to think that that is what you're going to earn for the rest of your teaching career. And that is just not true. So how it works in most cases, and again, like I said, I'm speaking from my own experience. Other people, other teachers might have had different experiences. So from my own experience and a lot of other teachers that I know and that I've worked with, you will start at the school in a contract post. You will be earning X amount. That full amount is paid to you. The only deduction you have is, of course, your tax. After a few months, it's up to the school, up to the department, whether you are going to be converted to permanent, right? And when you become permanent, there's a significant drop in your salary. Not an increase, there is a drop in your salary. But what this drop is is that when you are contract, okay, I feel like I need to do a visual. You get your permanent and you get your contract teachers. Permanent teachers have lots of benefits, contract teachers don't. So the amount that those benefits accumulate to is the amount of extra money a contract teacher receives, right? So when you become permanent, you lose that amount, but you gain the benefits. And there's some benefits that are optional, there's some benefits that's obviously compulsory, but yeah, that's the main difference. And so I feel like a lot of young teachers or young people studying towards teaching don't know about that, and that is also something I found out when I started teaching. The other thing is that nobody can really tell you how much you're going to earn, and that's a very strange thing unless you call in and find out for yourself. But I guess teachers don't want to discuss the money. I'm not sure, but yeah, if you're going in it for the salary, then that is how it works. You're more than likely going to be in a contract post for 3 to 6 months, maybe a year, and then you're going to be converted to permanent. So yeah, that's the first thing. Teachers don't earn as much as you think they do. Moving on. So you got your teaching job, you are teaching for a year or two, and you feel stagnant. What's the next steps? While again, the honest truth is that I wouldn't say there's not a lot of growth for teachers, but within the school structure, depending on how big or small the school is, there are only so many positions that can be held, right? You have your principal, you have your deputy principal, you have your grade heads, maybe you have discipline heads, you have your subject heads, but some of those positions are earning positions where you can earn a little more, and others aren't. Others you do because you were asked to do it, because you have the potential to, but unfortunately there's no extra money in it. And I think that's also why a lot of teachers maybe leave the industry, because the growth is very minimal. It's not like in a corporate setting where you are a general worker, you become a supervisor, you become a manager, you become an area manager, you become a regional manager, things like that. It's not, the growth is not like that. For those people, growth can happen in 5 years of them starting their career. But for teachers, it's just a lot different. I am fortunate to be at a school where I am able to see a little bit of growth for the 2024 year that's coming. But had I been at a different school, the first high school I started at, I wouldn't have seen that growth for another maybe 5 to 10 years. And a lot of schools, I think, have the narrative, I'm not sure if it comes from the principal or where, but a lot of, I don't want to say principals, I don't want to speak ill of anybody in this video or how schools are run or anything like that, but from what I have seen, a lot of the senior teachers get senior positions, if I can put it that way. And that's not to say that they're not capable of it or anything like that, but obviously they have the most experience, definitely. But I feel that our younger teachers aren't given enough opportunity. Yes, of course, we have to fight for those opportunities and we have to work hard for them, but I think that we are just maybe overlooked somewhat in the industry, and so that makes it even harder to grow or to gain that higher position. I know that not everybody is striving to have a title or to grow in that way, but I think majority of us want to feel fulfilled and want to feel that we are contributing not just in the classroom, but in our positions and in those higher positions where you feel you have a substantial or a more significant contribution to the school itself. So yes, that's my second thing. Growth is not, it won't be as rapid as it is in the corporate world, but if you work hard enough and maybe you just need to have a conversation with your principal or with senior management, then that growth is possible. It's not impossible, it's just that it doesn't happen as quickly as it does in the corporate world. The third point that I want to make, and it's sort of connected with the growth thing and how you could grow, is that teaching is not just teaching. So many people speak ill about teachers or look down on teachers or say that we have an easy job because we get these long breaks, like now with December holidays we had a 4-week break, but they don't know what it's like. Your teaching is not limited to your classroom. Even within your classroom, it's not just teaching. There's just so much that university does not prepare you for, and we'll get into that a bit later in this video. Teaching is, oh my gosh, the different hats you have to wear in one day is enough to wear you out or drive you out. You are a teacher, you are a lawyer, you are a nurse, you are a counselor, you are a caregiver, you are a mother, like a parent, a parental figure. You are so much more than just somebody who puts notes on the board and gives a lesson. Outside of your teaching hours, there are extramurals, which at most schools it is compulsory that a teacher has to belong to one or more societies or clubs. There are meetings, there are workshops, there are events, there are day-to-day parent meetings with parents coming in and wanting to see you. There's break duty. There's just so much more than just the teaching in the classroom. And people fail to see that. People think that teachers go to school 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Oh, you get home nice and early. You have 2 long breaks. You have a long holiday, paid holiday, and that's that. But it is not that. It is so exhausting. You will find yourself in the middle of 2 towering boys fighting, and you have to deal with those situations. That is the reality of what it's like. Okay, you will, even at high school, you have those ones, miss or ma'am, he did this, ma'am, he did that. It's a constant nag on your head all the time, and as much as you love those kids, they can become heavy. So being a teacher is not just, like I said, standing in front of the class and doing the lesson. It's so much more than that. And if you really want to prove yourself and you want to grow, then I would suggest doing as much as you can without wearing yourself down. Right? That's another topic to discuss in this video. So join the societies, join the clubs that you're interested in, as long as you know it makes you happy, you can contribute to it. Don't just be a sitting duck. Don't just go there so that you can have on a piece of paper that you belong to a club, because those people are usually called out and it's not nice to be known as that person. So rather be somebody who gets involved. Of course, know your boundaries. Know when to say no, know what you are good at and where you want to help, but don't just say yes for everything. Okay, don't say no for everything, but don't say yes for everything as well. You know what you are good at. If you are good at art and your school doesn't offer it as a subject, then start an art club. If you are good at soccer, join the soccer team, things like that. Just join something so that you're contributing more than just your teaching time. That is what they see and that is what they value. And if you ever want to move to a different school or in a different position or apply for a different position, then you know that you have that on your CV as well. So other than the things that I just mentioned, you have to bear in mind that there's also marking of tests, there's setting up lessons, setting up exams, and that is something that you really sort of need to learn as you are working. It's good to have a mentor to help you with those types of things when it comes to marking, when it comes to setting up papers, when it comes to setting up exams and things like that. It's really good to have a mentor to help you with those things, because those are the types of things that you don't learn at university. You really don't learn how to manage your time when it comes to marking. Um, it's it's something that you can only learn once you are on the job. And so that brings me to my next topic about university. University does really not prepare you for becoming a teacher. Whether you studied B.Ed, that's I studied a Bachelor of Education degree, or whether you studied something else and did a postgraduate certificate in education, I feel that we are very ill equipped when we first begin to start teaching because of how little we actually learn at university regarding actual teaching. With that being said, if you are in the Western Cape and you're looking to study teaching, I would recommend studying at CPUT instead of UWC. Um, from what I studied at UWC, and teaching practice is very crucial. It, it, it's one of the things that equips you for the classroom because you are in that environment. But unfortunately, when you study at UWC, you don't start teaching prac until like your final year. You do go out for observation in your second year. You go out for observation and a bit of practicals in your third year. And then in your final year, you'll go out for observation and you'll have a supervisor that comes to, assess you, and that'll be how you pass or fail or anything like that. With CPUT, you get to go out from your first year, and I think going out for 4 years to a school, it really sets the tone from year one. You have the option to either stay in it or leave. You have the option to switch your majors. There's just such a lot of benefits when you start going to schools in your first year, whether it's observation or to practice teach. It just makes a big difference. And so I think that is my main complaint, like with universities. And I know no amount of teaching or for any career can really equip you for what you're going to experience in the field, but I just feel there's a lot more that universities can teach, or there's so much more you can learn at university than the things I've learned. Oh my gosh, there's just a lot that I learned that I'm never ever going to use in the classroom. That's how I feel. Of course, the few things that they do teach you, like the level of questions that you have to have in your paper, Bloom's taxonomy, but you are going to use it. But the vast majority of what you learn at uni is not relevant to the classroom. And so when you step into that classroom for the first time as the main teacher, it can be very overwhelming. Yeah, university doesn't equip you for that, and that is just something you have to sort of figure out on your own. That brings us to our next topic about being in the classroom. Being in that classroom for the very first time, like I said, it can be very overwhelming. But what I've learned, and I haven't always done this, is that you need to set the tone from day one. And I remember being at uni, there was a lecturer who said, "Don't smile until Easter." And I never understood why. And now I can understand. Teachers, especially as young teachers, I think find it a bit more difficult because, especially if you're at a high school, because of the closeness in age. If you're a teacher fresh out of uni, you're most likely 22, 23, and the learners are, the some of the older learners are 18 or older. So I think that is a challenge in itself, because I've seen teachers cross that line where the learners think they're friends and the teacher goes along, or maybe you're just the type of person who is very friendly and the learners mistake that for you wanting to be friends with them. So it's very important to set the tone from day one. You need to remember that that is your classroom. You spend majority of your time there. The classes come and go, but the rules need to stay the same. You are there to teach, you are there to equip them for the outside world. You are not there to be friends. You are not there to impress anybody. You are not there for them to like you. It's a bonus if they like you, but if they don't, it's on them. You are the teacher. You need to create an environment where all your learners can learn, if that makes sense. Or it might seem obvious, but a lot of the times I think the main problem we have is that you have those 2 or 3 students who are very distracting, who are very disruptive, and that spoils the environment for the rest of the class. So you can't have 10% of your class spoiling the lesson for the other 90%. So set the tone from day one, have very strict rules and have very strict consequences, because that is the only way you are going to stay sane while being a teacher. And again, I'm not trying to talk you out of becoming a teacher. It's a wonderful job. But if you don't stand up for yourself, you are going to be miserable. Once you understand that they don't have to like you, but they do have to respect you, then it's going to be a lot easier. So when you step into that classroom, make it known that these are my rules, these are my consequences, and you're not there to play games, you're not there to be liked, you're not there to be friends, you are there to teach them. I think that's the main thing that I can stress sort of, is that you really need to set that tone. Like, I can't stress it enough. It's so important, because a lot of schools these days, or I actually saw this meme or this quote. It was a meme type of a thing that said, the teacher is scared of management is scared of the principal is scared of the board, like the department is scared of the parent, but the parent is scared of the child. And what I've seen is that children get away with so much. Children control their parents, they control their teachers, the school. They will bark their rights at you, left, right, and center. They know that they have the right to do this and you don't have the right to do that, and they will use that to play mind games with you. Don't allow it. Stand your ground. Make them aware that it's your classroom, it's your rules, and it's your consequences. It's easier said than done, but once you got that unlocked, you are sort of good to go. So yes, discipline is very important. I need to word this gently. In some cases you won't receive the support you need, so you have to be your own support. So what I can suggest is have a buddy teacher, have somebody that will look out for you when you need it. I think that sort of brings me to my next point. A lot of the times our learners are problems, but a lot of the times our colleagues can also be problems. Lucky for me, in the past year, in 2023, I started at a new school, and I've had quite a pleasant year with colleagues. I've received a good amount of support, but what I can say is that not everybody is your friend. And I think in any work environment, whether you working in retail, an office job, whatever it may be, just know that not everybody is your friend. It's okay to be friendly, but not everybody is your friend. And like I said previously, you need support, and you're not always going to receive that. So make sure that you are able to A, support yourself, and B, maybe have one person that you can at least count on. In terms of external support as well, I don't think that us as teachers receive a lot of external support. One thing I want to say is join a union. It's very important, whether it's a salary dispute, it may be. It's very important that you have a union, because they can help you, and they actually provide more support than people in the department. That's just what I've experienced. So please do join a union. If you don't join a union, it still gets deducted from your salary, so you might as well join a union and pay that monthly fee, and I can promise you it's going to come in handy. I sort of lost my train of thought, but yeah, in the work environment, be professional always. Remember, not everybody's your friend. Be friendly, be kind, be offer helping hand where you can, and try to have at least one person who you can rely on, count on, that's going to support you, and it should make the job a lot easier. I do not want to talk on for too long. I know certain videos can become a bit boring because it's just speaking, but I do hope that this video is valuable to some people, to people joining the industry. And so one of the few last things I want to talk about is jobs, and then I just want to touch on some tips and some guidance for you. So when it comes to jobs, guys, there are so many people studying teaching. There are so many universities that offer teaching, and I think that they accept quite a few students. So there's quite a lot of students graduating wanting to become teachers. Uh, I, I want to say take what you can get, right? I know that in life we are taught, oh, you deserve this and you deserve that, but the truth is that the jobs are plenty, but they are also scarce. I don't know if it makes sense. Picture this. I belong to a WhatsApp group of like my colleagues that I've studied with when I was studying to become a teacher. And so every so often there'll be like a school that posts, or somebody that posts jobs that's available at the school that they're from, and there'll be about like 5 positions or 2 positions, maybe just 1 position of a teacher that's going on maternity leave or something like that. So if that's what I'm seeing now and again, but there are 5,000 people graduating, then if 5 people are employed, where do the other 4,995 people go? So I do see jobs quite often, but if I think about how many people are graduated and how many teachers are in need of jobs, then it's quite scary, um, just knowing that reality. So I want to say that take what you can get. If it's a maternity post, I a few years ago, so let's just pause, backtrack. My first job, my first teaching job, I got while I was still studying. So if you are in your 4th year, please don't be afraid to apply for jobs. Maybe even your 3rd year. I was still studying. I still had exams to write in my final term, and I just sent my CV. I didn't even apply for the job. I sent my CV to multiple schools, and I phoned schools, and the school said no, they don't have any positions, or. And about a month later, I was working. I used to work at my salsa ice cream shop, and I was working, and I got the school from them, and they're like, "Hi, Mrs. So and so, can you please come in for an interview? There's a job available." The interview was literally like the next day or in 2 days time. So I went for the interview. Like I said, it was at the primary school. It was for the grade 6 position. I went for the interview. The next day I got a call to say that I was successful. Can I please come in, for them to discuss the documents and all of that. I went in the next day. The principal of the school called me to his office, and he said, "Ma'am, you know what? Out of everybody we interviewed, I think there were 4 or 5 candidates. The rest of them all had the degree. You were the only one without a degree, but we are choosing you because of how you presented yourself in that interview." So that's another thing I want to note is, when I was sitting there was a girl next to me, and I think she had on like a jeans and a shirt and pumps or something, and that really counts. How you present yourself, the way you look, and how you present yourself in speaking and answering questions is very, very important. I didn't have a clue what I was saying. I said what they wanted to hear. So sell yourself. Don't be scared to sell yourself to these people who are interviewing you, because that might just be the job that you needed, right? But so yeah, like I was saying, I went for that job, and at the end of that year, I left the school for whatever reasons. The next job I got, it was a maternity post, so it was only supposed to be for 1 term. I ended up staying for the year because the school needed me. So don't be scared to apply for the job that says, oh, it's only from January to March, or from January to June, or it's a maternity post, or whatever the case may be. Go for the job. The school that I'm at now, God bless my soul. The school I'm at now, when I started there, I got the shock of a lifetime, because the school I was at before that was like one of the top schools in Cape Town. They are up and coming, they are excellent in sport, academics, they have like 100% pass rate. And the school I'm at now is wild. And I was like, oh my gosh, how did I end up here? And now I love it. I love those kids to death. They are so unique, they are special, they just make my day. So wherever you find yourself, please grow to love that position and get to know your kids. It's going to make your job a lot easier and you're going to enjoy it. But yeah, like I said, if you think that you deserve to be at a Wynberg Girls or a Wynberg Boys and you can't teach at a Bishop Labour's High, or just for example, then try, but it's not guaranteed that you're going to get that job. And maybe the job at Bishop Labour's or wherever may have been the job for you. So please don't back down because you're scared of the area the school is at, because you're scared of the type of learners, because of so many other things. Please don't back down. It's so difficult to get a job. I've seen qualified teachers in teacher assistant positions because they can't get a teacher's job, and it's sad knowing that you studied all those years, you graduated, and now you have to settle for less. So yes, take the opportunities that are handed to you, apply for jobs wherever you can, send in your CVs via email whether there's positions or not. Go on foot to drop CVs. You never know what might be waiting for you. Now, of course, that's not everything that's involved in teaching. I didn't discuss everything, but I discussed what I feel I never knew going into teaching. And so I'm hoping that it helped either teachers going into a new year this year, or if you're still studying, I just hope that helped you a little bit and it clarified some things. I know I do speak a bit fast. I'm sorry, but it's just in me. But for the last part of this video, I just want to talk about some tips and tricks, or some tips and some guides that may help you in your teaching. I'm just gonna speak off the top of my head. I never made any notes on that or anything, which is actually something you need to do. Be prepared. The first thing I want to say is be prepared. My first year, I'd say I prepared thoroughly, and then within my first year, I saw myself like not preparing anymore, just going to class and whatever I found, teaching that. And it's actually more stressful on you as a teacher because you don't know what you're going to teach for the day, and so you're anxious, and the learners pick up on that. So my first step is always be prepared. I'm not saying go and draw up your lesson plan and those per minute what you're going to teach, but if you have a 45-minute lesson, make sure you're prepared for that 45-minute lesson, because if you have a 45-minute lesson and you teach for 30 minutes, those last 15 minutes are going to be chaos. So be prepared. Make use of your ATP. If you are a new teacher and you haven't spoken to a mentor or anything like that yet, the best way to be prepared for this upcoming year, I'm sure you know what subjects you're teaching. Go onto Google, search for the 2024 ATPs, and go to your subject, download that, and see what you need to cover for that, for the week, the term, the year. I actually will provide a link for the ATPs in the description box, and so you can make use of that link. And this is just a guide for you, and you can plan accordingly. So for example, if you're teaching grade 8 English and in the first week you need to cover nouns, pronouns, for language, whatever the case may be, at least you'll be prepared for that, so you're not going into your first few weeks blindsided. So the first step is be prepared. The second tip is, no matter how young you are, make sure that you are strict. I'm not saying strict in terms of mistrenchable. You don't have to be a complete meanie, but make sure that the learners know that you are there to only teach them and that you have rules, and those rules will be enforced and there will be consequences if the learners don't follow those rules. So stand your ground, and with that is, if you say you are going to do something, then do it. Don't make empty promises or empty threats. Many a time I've been like, if you guys don't complete your work, we are staying in for interval. But then when it comes to interval, I'm thinking about myself, and so I let them go. And the next time when I'm actually prepared to keep them in, they don't take me seriously. So don't make any empty threat. If you say you're going to do something, rather put your own needs aside and do what you said you're going to do, so that they know that when you say something, you mean it and you're going to do it. My third thing is, always pack a lunch. Always pack a lunch, whether you're going to eat it or not. There might be a learner or two that don't have or aren't by the means to have a lunch, and so you can always help them out. And there are many days where I'm giving either my entire lunch away or I pack a second lunch for some of my learners, and it's just so heartwarming to see how they really appreciate that. And like, I think with that, just be somebody that they can rely on. So, and I said previously that you're not there to be friends, but I think when you play that motherly role, learners really need somebody to trust. Our learners are very vulnerable, especially at some of our, less developed schools, and they really just need somebody they can trust and they can talk to. And if you can be that person, if you're not that type of person, then don't involve yourself. But if you are somebody that they can just really trust, then try to be that for them, because a lot of them don't have that, and they sort of have, once you are in the corner in a good way, then they have influence on other learners to sort of, they'll tell their friends, look, this teacher can help you, or you need to respect her, or just things like that. So it might not be for everybody to be that person for learners, but if you are that type of person, then definitely try to be there for them when they need it. But obviously, if it's something out of your control, then please do report it. So yeah, bring that lunch, share as much as you can. They are going to love it. They are going to appreciate it so much. And then the last thing I want to say is, another tip or another guide is to have boundaries. Have boundaries with your learners, have boundaries with your colleagues, because learners can take advantage, so can your colleagues. And B, if you're just accessible to anybody and say yes for everything, you're going to burn out, and it's more than likely that you're not going to enjoy what you're doing, and it's just going to have like a negative effect on everything. So please set strict boundaries, whether it's boundaries around your table, whether it's boundaries like you don't discuss your personal life, you don't do things outside of teaching hours, or another thing is, have boundaries with your parents. Please do. As much as you're there to support those parents, parents can also take advantage. So I have boundaries at the beginning of the year. If you are a class teacher, set up a WhatsApp group, and in that WhatsApp group have strict contact hours. You are available from 7:30 till 5:30. They can call you or message you during that time. You will respond when you can, because of course if you are teaching, so you can't answer calls, but have strict boundaries with your parents as well. I can't think of much to say. I think I'm also just very overwhelmed right now, but good luck. Whether you're a new teacher, an old teacher, whether you've been in the game for 10 years or you've been out of the game for 10 years, I think we all just need to support each other in whichever way we can. But to the new teachers stepping into their roles this year, good luck. Please have fun. Don't forget to have fun. It's going to be a job for the next 40 to 50 years, so you might as well have fun doing it. So good luck to you. Please don't be scared to reach out to your community, to other teachers, even your family. If you know you can rely on them, then please do that. But yes, good luck. Have a great year ahead, and hopefully, we can start a little teacher community on this page where we just also help each other, maybe meet up, things like that. But for my 2024 teachers, have the best teaching year. I hope I do too, and I hope that we all grow together.